Hello, how are you all doing? Welcome to the most recent Duggar family news. Normally a hive of activity, sound, and the cacophony of a large family, the Duggar home was suddenly eerily still. The once lively, plate-clinking, laughter-filled kitchen was now silent. The early sun streamed through the lace curtains, illuminating the oak floors with a stunning gold glow. There was no voice calling for morning prayers, no scent of cinnamon buns, and no footsteps. There seemed to be a problem. It appears that something is missing. In her chamber was Michelle Duggar, the lifeblood of the household. Keep calm, pale. She had been ailing for 4 days. At first, it was only occasional coughing and mild fatigue. Michelle didn't care. She was always a devoted wife, mother, and grandmother. She smiled weakly as she informed Jim Bob. "I'm simply worn out. Most likely just got something from the children." Despite his concerns, Jim Bob refrained from pressing. Michelle was stronger and tougher than the majority of the women he knew. She had carried and given birth to 19 children. She was in charge of a household as large and intricate as a small town. When she assured him that she was fine, he trusted her until he was unable to continue. Her cough worsened. Her breathing was difficult. By the end of the week, Michelle was unable to stand for more than a few seconds without experiencing lightheadedness. Her fever persisted and her lips went pale. She then tried to get out of bed late one night to see how one of the grandbabies, who was coming for the weekend, was doing, but her body failed her. She went down. Just in time, Jim Bob got her. His heart ceased beating. "Michelle. Michelle, hello. Speak to me." However, her respiration was weak and her eyes were closed. Her heart beat like a hummingbird's wings. Everyone in the home was in a frenzy within minutes. Jessa called 911. Jana removed the younger children from the corridor. Some chilly clothes were given to Josiah. Shaking and in a panic, Jim Bob cradled Michelle's limp hand in his while muttering prayers to himself. The ambulance ride seemed to go on forever. In the cold Arkansas night, sirens sounded. In the emergency room, Jim Bob signed documents with unsteady hands while attempting to understand a lot of medical language that didn't seem to be related to actual virus issues brought on by fever, dehydration, or pressure on the lungs. They were allowing her entry so they could observe her. Care comes next, followed by critical care. Then it dawned on him. His Michelle was quite sick. Michelle appeared minuscule in the pristine white room, surrounded by humming tubes and apparatus. Sunlight and laughter had made her skin rosy, but now it was pale. Her breathing was erratic, and her eyes remained closed. While taking vital signs, writing notes, and administering oxygen and drink, nurses worked swiftly. The family was informed in whispers by the doctors that she was stable but still required close observation. The hard plastic chair beside her bed was occupied by Jim Bob. He did not move. He did not sleep. Just holding her hand, he reminded her of his presence by delicately stroking her knuckles with his thumb. The days were indistinguishable. The sound of the machines beeping awakened him up each morning. He counted the breaths he took each night as he watched her chest rise and fall. When the nurses urged him to relax, he shook his head. "I belong here." He recalled the day of their marriage. Her eyes were full of hope for their future, and she wore a simple yet beautiful white gown. He remembered when they had brought Josh home for the first time. Despite his hesitation and anxiety, he was adamant. When they were on vacation and got caught in the rain, he recalled how she giggled. The way she supported his face while he dealt with the pressures of parenting, politics, and cameras. Michelle had consistently maintained her composure. The storm had now reached her. Waves of children arrived. For her mother to read to her, Jill brought books. Jinger said a prayer aloud each night. Joanna crocheted calmly while sitting in the corner. An act of trust in silence with every stitch. Jim Bob endured the longest, but the boys took turns watching, assisting, and attempting to remain strong. He read aloud some of her favorite Bible passages. He combed her hair. They glanced through their wedding album together, which he brought. "Remember this one? When the church heating broke, you took my jacket off. I knew you were cold, even if you said you didn't mind. You remained silent. You never do." At times, He spoke merely to break the silence. At other times, he cried. God, he said, I don't know what to do. After the nurses switched off the lights late one evening, the hallway became silent. I'm not sure how I'll manage without her. If you have to give it to someone else, give it to me. But don't take her just yet, please. Michelle shifted. She raised and lowered her eyelids. She tightened her hold on his hand. He stood up. Jim, it's me, Michelle. Bob. I'm present. Her mouth parted. A whisper, a breath. Are the children doing well? Tears filled his eyes as he nodded and laughed. Honey, don't worry. They're all doing well. Simply take a rest. I will not be leaving. There was no recovery wave. Entered cautiously and slowly. Michelle showed a decrease in temperature on Tuesday morning. Her breathing evens out. She want to eat once more. Initially, they mainly consumed little meals like toast and broth. However, it was a good beginning. She remained weak. She moved slowly, and her voice was. However, her spirit, that same affectionate soul, began to shine once more in her eyes. Jim Bob used a notepad to write her a letter every day. The 9th day. Our porch swings are something I miss. I miss the way you hum as you do the laundry. I miss your strength. But the most beautiful thing I've ever seen is watching you fight. Day 14. You were curious in the children's well-being. Even while you're in the hospital, your heart is with them. I want you to let your heart be with you today, though. My dear, get better. Michelle began to read them all. She occasionally shed tears. Sometimes she smiled. She always grabbed for his hand thereafter. They spent a lot of time discussing the first few days, their children, nothing at all, and everything that mattered. You never left, she whispered one afternoon, gratitude shining in her eyes. Neither would you. His voice broke as he chuckled. You wouldn't even let me go through the Walmart checkout line. After they had both finished laughing, they were silent once more. Time to heal in peace. The hospital released her after nearly 3 weeks. She was carefully escorted by Jim, Bob, and Jana to a parking area adorned with balloons and homemade placards. Mom, welcome home. Our war queen. Go, Michelle, she sobbed. The house was different when Michelle arrived home. Every inch had been cleaned by kids. Her favorite flowers were placed in vases. Her slippers were waiting at the door. Her side of the bed was down, and a lavender sash rested on her pillow. Jim, she followed Bob to the porch swing. Just sit with me before you go inside, he said. They rocked slowly as they Saturday. Over Arkansas, the sky was gold and pink. I thought about this swing every day, she remarked. I was unsure if I would ever sit here again. Yes, he responded, I did. Without fail, every night. I considered this instance. His eyes were still black with love and fear as she looked at him. You hung on tight. No, he said. I broke. But then I realized that strength was not a requirement. I simply had to remain. They clasped hands. Nearby, a bird was singing. The wind caused the trees to sway. And time appeared to pause at that straightforward instant, beneath the roof of a house. They didn't discuss the illness again that evening. They were not required to. Quiet was filled with all of their experiences. On his shoulder, Michelle rested her head. Jim Bob closed his eyes, shedding a few tears, and added, Thank you for staying. She smiled. I appreciate you saving me. Thus, under the stars, they remained together forever after falling in love, starting a family, facing the world, and now battling illness. Throughout the next few months, Michelle took her time. Every day was a blessing, even when there were slow and wonderful days. She began journaling once more, this time with notes for Jim Bob. Even though I couldn't speak, I saw you. I noticed you. You never gave up trying. You never gave up. I will never forget how you loved me in the quiet, even though I knew you were in suffering. In the evening, they resumed their conversation on the porch. Sometimes they were alone, and other times the grandchildren were around. And the world saw the Duggars on television once more. But not for a show or controversy this time. It was a tale of love that triumphed over illness this time. A wife who is struggling and a husband who is holding on. as well as a family rediscovering what it means to love one another. Because the best evidence isn't always what you see on television. Occurs in a hospital room and is recorded in handwritten notes. Amid whispered prayers and trembling hands. That is the result of unrelenting affection. The rumors are over. If you enjoy the video, please leave a comment below and follow us by subscribing to the channel. Thank you.